Well, I better be careful what I say now.
Recording in progress.
Hi guys.
Hi, Juliana.
You know what, let's not even go into the detail. Just know I have
Hello, so everybody, people on the call already. So yeah, so it's not a practice session. So we'll begin shortly.
Good evening, Juliana.
Hi. Yeah, hi, Juliana. We have people on the call already. Good evening, everyone. I mean, it's 7 o'clock now, but we're just going to give it 5 minutes for other people to join. And thank you for joining us today. So we'll just give it 5 minutes for other people to join before we start the session. Thank you. Good evening to those just joining in. As I mentioned earlier, we're just waiting for a few more people to join. So we'll start by about 5 minutes past 7. Thank you for your patience. Okay, so I think we can start. Once again, thank you everyone for joining this Mixtaverse session. Today, we're happy that you've taken the time off to listen to this discussion and join us and engage with us. So what I'll be doing right now, I'll be handing over to our host for today. His name is David Smith, and I'll give him the opportunity to introduce himself. Then we can kick off the session. I'm also joined by other members of my, also joined by my colleagues, and I'm also joined by Juliana, who would also be featuring during this webinar. So over to you, David.
Thank you, Tade. Very good. Welcome, everybody. Good evening. My name is David Smith. I'm chairman of the British African Business Alliance in the UK, and I'm delighted to chair this evening's webinar hosted by Mixta Africa. On the panel this evening, we have a team of bridge builders looking at the issues of investing in property in Lagos from both a local and a diaspora point of view. The focus for this evening's discussion is Lagos New Town, a development in Lekki midway between Victoria Island and the new free trade zone. We'll hear more about this development a little later, so please let me introduce our panel. First, we have Rolake Akingube Filani, Chief Commercial Officer of Mixta Africa. Rolake has enjoyed a career that has seen her play leading roles in economic development with a background in research, development, risk management, banking, oil and gas, investment, capital management, and now property. Welcome, Rolake. Alongside her is Tade Adeniyi, a commercial strategy analyst at Mixta Real Estate PLC in Lagos. His background is in commercial strategy, data analysis, product management, and digital transformation. He'll be kicking off this evening's briefing in a few minutes' time. Next to Tade, we have Juliana Olelinka. Excuse me, let me get that right. I beg your pardon. Juliana Olelinka. I think we can all recognize her as an award-winning business correspondent with a strong media history based in London. This evening, she's here to share the observations, feelings, concerns, and worries of a diaspora keen to invest back home, but concerned to be making wise decisions and taking advantage of the best possible arrangement for their continued wealth development. To set the scene, I'd like to say a few words about our business, British African Business Alliance. We were formed 15 years ago, and we have a strong base with Africa-facing business leaders in the UK. We mobilize technology, expertise, and investment to move development forward across the continent. We do a lot of work with Nigeria and with Nigerians particularly, with NDDIS, the Nigerian Diaspora Direct Investment Summits. They also are bridge builders and looking at how the wealth, the expertise, the power of the diaspora can be applied to Nigeria. Our Pan-African approach is based on sharing knowledge and technology together with proven business models to accelerate the way business leads development and creates what we call widely held wealth. I shall be interested to see how Lagos New Town and Mixta Africa can deliver on their propositions to create value and lifestyle for the purchasers of property in Lagos New Town. So to get things underway, here is a short video that outlines the issues for the diaspora. Counting down. Tally, we have no sound. Hmm. Am I the only one?
I am been unable to hear this video.
Yeah.
Sorry, can you hear the sound?
No, we can't hear anything.
Okay, sorry, give me a moment. Let me just restart it. So please confirm if you can hear.
No, not yet.
Okay.
My name's Banana. It's my own yes, company.
All right. So whilst we try to fix that, I think we'll just move on a bit with the presentation. Then we'll play it a bit later. Sorry about the issue.
No, that's fine. Hi everyone. I'll kind of come in. Sorry to interject, but of course this is a webinar, so things do happen. I am not in London, where I am based and where many of you may be familiar with me from, because I am the Channels TV London Bureau Chief. I'm in Abuja at the moment, and it's been a very long day. So I've come on here. I'm using my phone and I have very little makeup on, but that doesn't matter. What matters is that we are having a discussion talking really about the amazing work that Mixter have done. And what I hope we will be seeing in the video is a reaction from the diaspora, because one of the reasons why we are having this discussion is to find out what are some of the challenges or obstacles that are impacting decisions of Nigerians or friends of Nigeria or even investors from not investing in the real estate. And I think for many years we've kind of skimmed over that and pretended that there aren't issues with transparency and accountability and trust and relationship. And so we did conduct some really thorough research, and we spoke to different individuals. Nigerians living in the diaspora in America, in Europe and in the UK. And we got some really good responses. And it's great to know that in terms of some of their concerns, Mixter are able to allay and make sure that those concerns can be fully accounted for. And that's what the video was about. So I'm going to hand back over to the team now, and hopefully some of the questions that were asked in the video, Tade would be able to respond to, or perhaps the video is ready now.
I think you make some very interesting points there, Juliana, and certainly from my viewing of the video, it was very clear that people are keen, they're interested, but they have reservations, and addressing those reservations is going to be a key part of this evening. Tade, how are you getting on there?
Yes, so we don't waste time. I mean, the video is going to play shortly, but I'll carry on with the presentation. So once the presentation is done, then we'll head over to playing the video.
Okay.
Thank you, everyone, for your patience. All right, so to begin this session, I'll be playing a clip of one of the developments, I mean, I would say our flagship development at Lagos Newtown, which is Lakeway Lakes. So once I play that, then I'll give you some brief insights about Lagos Newtown, let you know who we are at Mixter Africa and why you should invest and how you can invest with us.
Tade, are you aware there's no sound?
Okay, I think yes, but I think for the purpose of this, I'll just carry on, then we'll just play the video at the end once we've sorted this out. So to start off this session, I'll take us through who Mixter is. Mixter Africa is a leading urban real estate and infrastructure developer for Africa's rapid developing population. We've been in the business for over 20 years. So we have 20 plus years accumulated experience in infrastructure and real estate. We have projects in 8 countries and we have operating subsidiaries in 6. Till date, we've delivered over 16,000 housing units across our subsidiaries. Mixter is a subsidiary of Assets Resource Management Limited in Nigeria, and Mixter has an asset base of over approximately 300 billion naira with real estate operations across 8 countries. So this just basically shows on the map the countries where we're present. You can see Tunisia, Algeria, Morocco, Senegal, Ivory Coast, Nigeria. And in Nigeria, we have operations and we have projects in Lagos and Abuja. This is just a snapshot. It's not a one-man business. We have a board of directors, and we also have a management team, including country managers in the different countries we are operational in. So this shows basically our business focus. As I mentioned earlier, Mixta Africa is a large-scale developer of real estate infrastructure and hospitality across Africa. So with real estate, we develop and sell residential and commercial properties. So that includes both built units and plots. And we also develop infrastructure. So we develop supporting infrastructure on our land bank. So that's the road network, including water supply, drainage, access to power. Then also ARM, which is our mother brand, sponsored the investment of infrastructure projects. And finally, we are we're in the hospitality business as well, as we've developed hospitality projects, which include Morehouse in Lagos, 4 Points by Sheraton, and Lakaway Lakes Golf and Country Estates. And we currently operate and manage the flagship hospitality project, which is Lakaway Lakes Golf and Country Estates. So why Lagos New Town? Currently, Lagos, what Mixta is doing is not focusing on just building estates. What we're doing essentially is trying to solve a problem in Lagos. We are trying to provide a solution to the rapid urbanization that's going on in Lagos State. And also, because one of the issues it's facing is that within the Lagos Central, it's become quite congested, and the infrastructure we have is unable to cater for the population demand. And we always use this comparison of Lagos to London, whereas in 1960, Lagos was under 1 million in terms of population. Whilst in London, it was 8 million in the 1960s. But right now, London has a population of just under 10 million people, whilst Lagos has 20 million plus people in 2023. So we can see that there's already an issue in terms of inadequate infrastructure and rapid urbanization. So there's a mismatch. So what we're trying to do basically is create a new district where people can live, work, and play. Mixta Africa is basically creating a development that is livable and sustainable with resilient infrastructure. And it's currently located at the fastest growing corridor in Lagos. It's not an empty district, because we've been building this, like as I mentioned, for the past 2 decades. So currently we have, this is the map on the right, you can see a picture, which is the master plan of the development. And the pointers indicate the different developments we have on the ground so far with people living there. So we're not even done yet. Upon completion, the district is envisaged to have over 200,000 people living with the right infrastructure and in the best living conditions. In terms of location, LNT is located within Ibeju-Lekki axis in Lagos, which is located about 35 kilometers away from Victoria Island. And the Lekki Free Trade Zone is 35 minutes away from it. So as David mentioned earlier on, you have LNT right in the center, and you can see this map below, giving you some indication. So here we have just some data for you to review. So the land valuation, so this shows the land valuation trend in Lagos over the years. And the quick pointers you can see here is that between 2017 and 2021, we can see that the LNT land bank has experienced a growth rate of up to 189%. And the LNT has grown, LNT itself, our land bank, the district, the value of land has grown by 922% since inception in 2003. The growth rates, what we can see is that the growth rate of land prices is in the well-established areas like the Lekki Phase 1, Victoria Island, and so you can see that the LNT is growing faster in comparison to that. And one of the reasons to that can be attributed to the influx of commercial and industrial activities within that district, as well as the strategic location of the LNT. So another reason why Lagos Newtown is that we are fully focused on sustainability and smart living. As you can see, EDGE certification, we are on the verge of obtaining that. We have green space, we pay attention to green spaces, and we have the sophisticated drainage system, which is in form of the lakes we have in our land bank, and we also have smart home features. So I'll just point this out. These are the major factors that make the LNT an attractive district for anyone to want to invest or live in. So we have the rapid urbanization, we have the Dangote refinery and Lekki Seaport. We have the LNT e-commerce commercial center, because we also have commercial center within LNT, which is going to drive footfall because of the businesses that are going to be located and are located there. Now we have the Lekki Regional Road, which is under construction. We have the Lekki Ekwe International Airport, and we also have the prospect of alternative transportation. And once all these factors reach their full potential, the value is only going to go up. So we envisage that within the next decade, that LNT is positioned for even further development. So how can you invest? I would hand over to my colleague, Tolu, to deliver the final section of the presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Tade. Now, this is actually where things, get really exciting. My name is Tolu Adebule, and I'm a product manager at Mixed Africa. And I'll be taking you through the product side of this presentation. Hi, Tade, can you hear me? Hi, Tade.
We hear you.
Okay.
Go ahead, Tolu.
All right. So as I was saying, okay, this is actually where this presentation gets pretty interesting, because I'll be taking you through the product side of the presentation. Tade, could you go to the next slide, please?
I'll just finish up the other part of the presentation. So how can you invest in Lagos Newtown?
Tade.
Tade,
sorry, please.
I think there's definitely something happening.
So basically, how can you invest? So Lagos Newtown, we have projects and products across the income brackets.
Tade, we've lost you now.
Sure. Oh, I just got okay, my network is delayed. Okay, sorry, Tolu, carry on. Thank you.
We have Tolu who can also do this if you run the slides for her.
Hi, Tade.
I think
okay, I'll just kick up from where Tade has stopped. Apologies everyone for, it's just technical issues. So as you're now aware, we have a very robust product portfolio which cuts across various market segments and split across the residential and commercial units, homes and plots as well. So we play in the affordable segments. We have the products such as Marola, which are 1-bed, 2-bed and 3-bed apartments. We have the Beechwood Park as well, which are 1-bed, 2-bed and 3-bed bungalows. We also have residential and commercial plots within the Beechwood Park. Within the mid-market segment, we have the Adiva Plainfield, which are serviced plots. We have the Farah Park 2, which are 1- and 2-bed apartments. We have your Expressview in Abuja, which are terraces, 3-bed terraces. We have the Zuma Plains, which are premium plots in LNT. And then when you move it over to our luxury segment, we have, a diverse range of products that pretty much, appeal to people's unique design, lifestyle, and preferences. We also play within the commercial space as well. We have your bulk land plots for people who are looking to buy large expanse of land for further development. We also have commercial plots available as well. Tade, next slide, please. And so if you're wondering what the different payment and buying options are, We have different, buying structures available. We have options for people who are looking to buy outrightly. And every time you actually, make full payment upfront, you get a 5% discount off all the products. We have our standard payment plans for people who are looking to, rather than paying the full lump sum at once, they're looking to pay over installments, over a period by installments. We have installments period, pretty much that go up to about 18 months. We also have the option where people can co-buy. You can partner with either a spouse, or a friend, or a colleague, or a business partner. You come together, you pull funds together, and then you buy a property. We also have a rent-to-own product, which is pretty much just as the word goes. It essentially allows you to live in as a tenant for 3 years while paying annual rentals within that 3-year period. And at the end of the 3 year, you have the option to transition to a mortgage plan. And then finally, we have, diaspora mortgage, where we've partnered with certain banks and financial institutions who provide, mortgage services to people in the diaspora at very friendly interest rates of 17% over a 10-year duration, and with a 30%, equity requirement. Next slide, please. And so if you're wondering, what is the buyer's journey like? What will your journey be? At Mixta, we try to make life as simple and crisp as possible. So it's pretty much in very easy, simple steps. The first thing we do is we assign a sales agent to you, and then you begin your journey, right? So you start with the step 1, which is, selecting a property and filling out an interest form. Secondly, then you get, of course, an offer letter sent to you. You receive the offer letter, you execute it, you send it back, you make payments, in line with the terms and conditions of whatever, payment plan you've chosen. You download your documents guide, and a document guide essentially serves as a guide on the agreements clients are expected to execute when a property is purchased from Mixta. Once you've gone through the guide, you receive regular construction updates, because for us, it's very important that, especially for you who are based abroad, it's important that you are carried along every step of that journey, so you know at what phase your property is at every given point in time. And then finally, you receive your property and your transfer of your title as well. Then that's about it for me. It's just a nice summary from my end.
Yeah, thank you, Tolu. So I think we've been able to resolve the video issue, and we'll just give it a try one more time because it's an interesting video. If it doesn't work, then we'll carry on to, I'll hand over to David and Juliana, who would take us to the next section of this webinar, which is the fireside.
Recording in progress.
So let me start.
Hello, we're not hearing anything.
Okay, it hasn't started yet, so I'm just about to play. So I'm about to share the video, then we can. Can you hear the sound?
No.
Did you select share sound when you shared the video, please?
So
Did you select the share sound option when you shared your Zoom screen? There's a small button to the bottom left with a box.
Okay, yeah, so that's, yeah, so we'll share now. I think it should work now. Thank you.
My name's Bolanle
sound plan.
Opere. I have my own travel and concierge company, and I am single but have a massive family.
My name is Elvis Abia. I'm an IT professional. I'm married. I'm blessed with 3 kids.
My name is Jennifer Myro. I am a writer, producer, and I am married.
My name's Jennifer Obaseki, and I'm a lawyer, but I also am a property agent and manager. I'm also an auctioneer here in the United Kingdom.
My name is Keo today. I'm a global communication consultant, and I am a married man with 2 little princesses, which is 2 little girls.
I am Ugo Arenze. I am a London-based property agent, and I am single.
My name is Babatunde Ajishola, and I'm married. I'm an IT engineer.
If you know an American home with the massive Highland kitchens, you walk in, you've literally got those elegant stairs going up that leads you into different bedrooms.
A bit of driveway, to get to the house, a bit away from the city, to cut off the hustle and bustle.
A huge backyard. I would love a house that has a backyard. My children are very active. We're an active family. They play sports.
Be secure, have light, and it would also have a very good road network.
Space, room, 24 hours light. It's weird we're saying that because we live in that space now and not even think about it. But in the Nigerian setup, knowing that even when there's fuel issues, there is light.
Parking for at least 2 cars. Of course, nice garden and serene environment.
I don't need much layering at the moment, based on the current environment I'm in.
Energy, the lack of electricity, is driving, the cost of running that alone.
I really have to feel that the risk well exceeded the returns on it, the returns well exceeded the risk involved in investing in the Nigerian property market at that point.
The Nigerian property market is booming at this time, and it's one of the best places anywhere in the world where you go invest now, especially if you know those involved. You've checked their integrity, you've seen their integrity status, they're worth it, they say what they do, and of course, why not?
The Nigerian property market is one in which you're going to always see added equitable value. And when I say that you buy to own, the concept of leasehold is new to Nigeria, but it's increased and leasehold properties are having secondary value. The second thing is you have to think about the fact that if you're not going to be there, the rental opportunities are humongous. You look online now, even look on some of the popular estate agent sort of websites here like Rightmove, you still find properties in Lekki to rent or in Nigeria to rent. Go to bookings.com and you'll see the quality of properties that are there to rent. So even if you're not going to be there, your rental yield or income is also secured.
Get a next, there are a lot of them that you can reach out to, speak to, and be able to hold accountable. A great contact or someone who's been very helpful to me has been a gentleman called Yemi Adu from Daniel Ford. He even invited me to a showcase, I think with a company called, is it Mexter Africa? In Marble Arch around sometime last year. I think it was a lady called Rolake. Sorry, I know I'm just trying to put it up because it's all coming back to me actually as we're speaking about it. And actually listening and seeing what they have in place sounds promising. It ticks all the right boxes, but it comes back to the space in which I'm in. We have the new houses which tick the boxes, but are the people ready for it?
Great, thank you very much, Taddy. I'm glad you got there in the end. Juliana, thank you also for putting that together. It's a tremendous insight to the issues and the concerns. Rolake, are you there? Are you coming on video? Can we have our fireside chat now? Do you have fires in your office there? I had this vision of an English pub, you know, nice drawing room, a space with a glass of wine where we could relax. But for you, are you a gamekeeper turned poacher now? Or are you best placed to carry the thoughts and concerns of investors into the heart of the property business? You have your background in the diaspora side, and now you're there in Lagos with Mixter. Tell us about this concept. How was this conceived, and your role in taking this forward?
Okay, thank you very much, David, and it's great to reconnect with you after so many years. Great to have everyone on board, and thank you for joining us this evening. We know your evening is a very precious time. Most of you are in the GMT time or GMT +1 time zone, so we appreciate your time. I've only been into this for about 2 years and 9 months, approximately. But it is obviously a very great vision, as you can see with the video that was shown and some of the, I guess you could say, testimonials or perspectives shared on the real estate investment opportunity in Nigeria as a whole. I think Mixter's slogan, and of which there are two, really is leading the transformation of African cities and building sustainable communities. So this concept or idea, which was birthed many years ago, long before I joined the journey, is really about finding a way to change the face of your African city. So how do you build a city that functions through the delivery of world-class infrastructure and housing, which is key to the way we live, we work, and we play, in a sense. And that is really the foundation of the Mixter vision. Now, I guess what you see as a product, which is the vast expanse of Lakawe Lakes Golf and Country Estate, the vast expanse of Lagos New Town, is just part of the journey of that ultimate goal and strategy. And it's really to say that if you're going to offer people a compelling story around the type of life they can have, even within the complex, noisy, bustling, sometimes super stressful environment that Lagos is, then people would be willing to pay you to be part of that journey. And that is the story we're seeing, which is why we have a track record of delivering more than 6,000 units, not just in Nigeria, but across the African continent. And a part of that story is really Lakawe Lakes. But like you can see, Lagos New Town really does three things. It is situated within Lagos. It is new, not just in the sense that it's an up and coming area or development, but it also brings novel products and services and a new way of living, but also a new way of affording housing. And I think that's a very important point. So the novelty is not just about the way we build and the way we design or the way we live in our environment, but it's really about the innovation behind the products and services we offer. Beyond the actual asset, we actually are offering solutions as to how you can acquire that asset. So in terms of your payment plans or your home entry options. And of course, it's a town, because in any town around the world, you want to be able to access services and amenities within reach, which also improves your lifestyle, it improves your health, it improves your well-being. So essentially, we have taken a 360 approach, and we believe that this particular development will be of prime interest to the diaspora community. And I think in a nutshell, that's why I decided to join this journey, because beyond the bricks and mortar, it really is positioning the African story in a very interesting and dynamic way.
Brilliant. So tell us a little bit about the investment opportunities. What are the entry points? Because I'm getting more familiar with Naira, but was it $18,000, 18,000 pounds, $20,000? What is the entry point in Lagos New Town?
Well, how long is a piece of string? It really depends on what you're trying to buy. But I think $18,000 to $24,000 would be a fair assessment of what our entry points have been, at least over the last 5 to 6 years, because obviously, as you know, there is, price increase, an increase in the valuation of property and land, and of course, a change in the operating environment and the economic environment that then impacts your input costs into construction and so on. But I think, at the height of what we're doing today, you can buy a home for as low as, perhaps in today's dollar terms, for as low as, I would say, $25,000. And of course, even with that amount, and I'm using that as a sort of average benchmark for one of the cheapest entry points into our property collection. And even with that, you do have an option to pay for that home or land or whatever the case may be through a payment plan, which is a standard payment plan that can range anywhere from 6 months all the way through to 24 months, or depending on the nature of the product, via a mortgage or via a rent to own type of arrangement. And so there is a variety of options and payment plans. And even those payment plans are forever evolving. So we always like to say that there is something for everybody within the Mixter family. And if you like, we're adopting an inclusive approach to housing penetration.
Excellent. And at the other extreme, if you're going for the top of the range, what are we talking
wow.
about?
The top of the range, you're talking about again in dollar terms, $250,000 to $350,000 would be the top of the range. Of course, that will mean different things to different people, depending on where you live and work. If you're thinking of that in Naira terms, or if you're thinking of that in sort of absolute foreign exchange terms. And in between the figure of $18,000 or sorry, $25,000 or $300,000 is a wide and very heavy middle in terms of price range. So it's not like we're hugely concentrated on the high end part of the market, but there's actually a wide range of options and price entry points in the middle of that entire spectrum that I have mentioned.
So someone sitting in Clapham this evening, thinking about investing at home, they really have some considerable choices to explore and make when they're looking at this program. And how would you characterize the target customers? How do you think of the people who are going to be moving in?
Well, I mean, our target customers are categorized along various subcategories. So if you look at just the profile of the target customer, you have people like me, right? People who decided to take a bet on the future of Nigeria, not just as a place to live and grow and set up and build your family life, but a place to investing, not just investing your career, but also investing in terms of wealth and asset acquisition. So you have young, upwardly mobile professionals, people, whether you call them millennials or Gen Zs, ranging up through to people in their, mid 40s. That professional class, I would say from 25 to 45 is a sweet spot for us, certainly on the affordable and middle income end. But you also have people in the older demographic who are reaching their twilight years, who also demand the peace and tranquility. At that stage in your life, you have made investments very early on as a young upcoming professional, and you're not at the stage where you want to enjoy the trappings, if you like, of your hard work and your professional life. And so at that point, it is about the quietness and the lifestyle and the serenity and the ability to bond and forge even deeper and meaningful relationships with posterity, your children and your grandchildren. So if you look at Lackaway Lakes as an estate, for instance, one of our newest and latest products to the market is a product called Ule. And we've tagged it Paradise for Your Golden Years. And the idea there is really that you should reward yourself for the years of hard work. And so the target market is not just the people who, the product is made and designed for, but it's also for the children of those who want to purchase these assets for their parents and keep it within the family line. And then you have other types of consumers who can either be corporate organizations who want to buy in bulk or reward staff under long-term, long service plans, or you have other developers, giving the vast expanse of what we're doing, other developers who also want to build mini developments within our estate because they like the story of an infrastructure network that is well designed, that is durable, and that is integrated with the broader infrastructure landscape. So, you know, it really is, you know, and we really mean it when we say there's something for everybody and every type of consumer. However, we have found that with increasing evolving nature of the Lagos sort of professional dynamic and the professional dynamic across Nigeria, even developers like us are having to adjust our product concepts and features to suit how the market is evolving. So the people who we thought 10 years ago were a core target market, that may have completely shifted to focus on a different demographic. We cannot divorce ourselves from the realities of the economic environment in which we live and operate. So I think we have to be nimble and agile and evolve our offerings to meet the needs of the market as it evolves.
Excellent. And one of the things that I take from that is the variety of housing, so that we have certain styles of house, but not everything is exactly the same. And the whole area is diverse in the way it's put together. I think that that's one of the main attractions that I've taken from what I've looked at so far. So that's a really interesting presentation of the background to it. I know that we're due to finish in 8 minutes, so I feel we ought to see whether there are questions coming from the floor, and whether there is, so if anyone would like to ask a question of anyone on the team, please raise a hand and let us know, and then we will work out how we hear your question. You can, of course, put it into the Q&A or into the chat. Juliana, is there anything you'd like to add from your media and diaspora?
Yes, I would. I would like to say thank you, Rolake, because I know you're exceptionally busy. You're a very busy woman. So thank you so much for taking out your time yet again to speak with us and to sell, I wouldn't say just Mixter or Lackaway or Lagos Newtown, but to actually sell Nigeria. And that was one of the reasons why I was so impressed with Mixter, and I'm hoping to work with them over the course of the next few months, and that is to sell brand Nigeria, because I think brand Nigeria is at risk of decline. I say risk because we know that our best asset is our human capital, and we are all ambassadors, but it can be a really difficult place to sell. And I think what Mixter are offering so clearly, and I think that was expressed during the very short snippet we saw from those interviews, is that, you know, it's a great place to invest in Nigeria. And, you know, the tectonic plates of the world are changing. The cost of living is incredibly high. In, you know, the diaspora, we're all facing the bills, but some of us, because many of us are doing very well, we do have that spare cash. And I think it's just breaking down all of these misconceptions, which I think you have done, is a great thing. So to now go into a question, Rolake, I would like to ask, you mentioned that the target audience has shifted and it's constantly shifting. What is and who is that target audience now? And how are you able to continue to break down a lot of the opaqueness or the perceived opaqueness of the Nigerian property market? And what feedback have you had from the diaspora engagements that you conducted over the past couple of years? Thank you.
Yeah, great question.
Great question.
I think one clear demographic in that target audience would obviously be people like yourself, Juliana, in the diaspora. And I think we found for two reasons. The first is really the fact that given the foreign exchange situation in Nigeria and the sort of consistent devaluation of the Naira over the last few years, certainly very rapidly, actually, since I moved back in 2014, it's pretty clear that there are people within the diaspora community, whether in the UK or US, who have purchasing power insofar as the value of their earning currency is vis-a-vis the Naira. And so we think it's an opportune time for them to tap into this. There's also an emotional connection for those who are away from home, as we know, whether that is for those who are there on a long-term basis or those who've been away all their lives and are now sort of second and third generation. People want to own assets back home. And there's now a high volume of inquiries or interest, specifically in real estate. I mean, it's not a phenomenon that only Mixter will be experiencing. And it's really how do we capture not just the pockets and wallets, but the hearts and minds of that community. And if you look at what's happened across the African continent over the last few years, you know, you have specific countries like Rwanda and Ghana who are actively courting the descendants of Africans who now live overseas. So people like African Americans and, you know, people who want to have a connection to home. And that clearly shows that there is a pipeline and there is a potential pool of leads to tap and generate. But over and beyond selling the real estate opportunity, you have to create an experience and a lifestyle for them. So that's one bucket of people. And then you have people who clearly just see this as an investment opportunity, people who are actually very investment savvy and take a portfolio approach to how they look at return and risk. And it's really just a case of saying, actually, you can get a basket of real estate assets, whether you're abroad or local or regional, and these are the returns you could reap over a certain period of time. And this is why, because the particular area these assets are mostly concentrated in is a high growth area. And what we understand from megacities like Lagos is that the only way is up insofar as real estate assets are concerned, and it's a long-term store of value. So that target market is more focused on the opportunity to be reaped. It's not specifically defined across demography, that second part, but it's focused around opportunity, investment, risk, and reward, and calculated risk, if you like. We think this is a risk worth taking because we've been at this for more than 20 years, and you have a track record and a professional bench that is very strong insofar as track record and expertise is concerned. And, you know, the proof is in the pudding. We've delivered, we've executed, and, you know, we have testimonials to underpin that.
Brilliant. We have a question here.
Okay, good. We have a question because I was going to ask a follow-up question, but
go ahead, Juliana.
Yeah, I wanted to say, well, okay. So what do you think is the main thing then that is holding, you know, those who work in C-suite, whether it be in the city or in New York, back from making that investment? And how do you think, what does Mixter need to do to kind of break that down? So they've got the money. They may not have 25,000, but they certainly got something that they could put away. They just need to be convinced. Do you think it is those archaic views of Nigeria and of, you know, listening to a family member, you know, cry on the phone for a year because somebody stole their land?
Yeah, and it's interesting you say that because I recently watched a video. I don't know who saw a video of a lady who had recently got overseas and had asked members of her family to build. She had been sending money home and had asked members of her family to build this property. And what seemed like a small amount of money, but it turned out that family members were actually siphoning off the funds. I think trust is an issue. However, I would argue that many savvy investors who understand frontier and emerging markets have actually moved beyond the trust issue to a certain extent. And I'll explain what I mean. Never before has the African story been put on the world stage. People are a lot more familiar with the African narrative. Gone are the days of the dark continent and all of that. Of course, there's still ignorance in some courses, but that is really limited. So I think a lot of African professionals abroad, actually, trust is not as pronounced as an issue as it is, but transparency is. And I think transparency and trust are slightly different. And it really is around information asymmetries. What do we know about that landscape? How do we go about processing the buying documentation? You know, who do we go to obtain our deeds? Who will handhold me through that process? Is there enough information for me to make a decision? These are the kinds of, you know, what are the experiences of other people who've been through this process with this developer? These are the kinds of questions we get asked a lot. Who are you? Who are your backers? Who is the investor in this company? And I think developers obviously need to do a better job of putting out information that is clear to understand, not just to the local market, but distilled in a way that it speaks the language of the diaspora community. And one of the biggest languages the diaspora community speaks is mortgages. Let's face it, that is the reality. We can't get past that. And I've always believed that that will be one of the biggest catalysts for really tapping into that market, because your average Juliana, and I'm not saying you specifically, is used to being able to go to HSBC, getting a mortgage decision in 3 days, at least indicatively, at a price point that is attractive and with a full understanding of what they will be paying in 30, 35, or 40 years' time, depending on their age. So I think consumer finance is key, transparency is key, and then partnering with a company that has a credible track record. So these are some of the things that we need to do. And if I may mention a final one, is really that the operating environment matters. And I think you can't divorce the opportunity from the operating environment. That is why it's important for us to continue to partner with the Nigeria High Commission, the trade minister, because we need to be telling the story of not just Mixter and Lagos Newtown, we need to be selling the story of Nigeria as well, because, you know, they sort of go hand in hand.
They do indeed. They do indeed. Let's go to this question now. How do you work with UK angel investors who want to seek opportunities with Mixter? Now, is that a target market that you've considered previously? Can people come in at the investment stage?
That is a really interesting question. And I'm going to ensure that any of my colleagues who are on the call, please feel free, Tade, Tolu. I also see some of my colleagues who are on the attendee side as well. Coming in at the investment stage, I just want to clarify to the person who asked that question. Are you asking it as an angel investor? You happen to be an angel investor who wants to buy real estate, or you happen to be an angel investor who wants to invest in a development or a project company for the development of a specific product or project? I think because our parent company actually has an investment legacy, you know, we have a whole asset management structure. I think there's scope for that. So investors can actually enter, make real estate investments even at arm's length. Personally, Mixter hasn't yet created a platform or a vehicle that allows angel investors to invest directly in our projects, but you can invest in real estate as an asset class as part of a broader investment strategy through our ARM portfolio options, so to speak. But I think that what we're seeing is that developers like ourselves are looking for more innovative ways to raise capital. I'm not sure that an angel investor necessarily has the depth nor the long-term capital availability to invest in long-term infrastructure, because it does require, I don't know, 7 or 10 year, who knows, money, and priced in a way that makes sense for the developer without eroding margin. So, but I think there's scope for new types of institutional investors and others to come in and invest in real estate assets, particularly in the prop tech space, and where you have entrepreneurial endeavors with startups that may require more seed or early stage type of funding. And we do have various incubation and accelerator models within the ARM group that can actually allow you to do that. So I would encourage you to reach out to my colleagues if you'd like to perhaps explore some of those opportunities.
Yeah, that question is coming from an angel VC investor fund. point of view. So I think that's a really
Recording.
interesting answer. Any more questions? We seem no. I think we've come to the end of the questions there.
If I may just add one more dimension to Funke's question around, or her statement that she's an angel VC investor fund. One of the other things that we're seeing evolving is the sort of innovative ways to own or acquire property. We are exploring fractional ownership, for instance, that allows multiple buyers to come in and purchase shares or units of real estate. It's a way to potentially rapidly scale your market penetration. But I think some of those platforms in themselves may require some sort of backing by perhaps an investor or a VC type of vehicle. I do know that there are firms in the market who are looking at this. We are also in the early stages of looking at such structures. And I think even as a VC fund owning an interest in such a platform or structure, I think there's scope to explore that type of arrangement actually. So especially because as a VC fund, you would also be pulling funds from, limited partners or other investors. So I see scope for that type of arrangement. And it's something that I guess we'd be willing to explore conversations on, or referring you to other partners or parties that do explore that route.
Excellent, excellent. Well, with no further questions, I think it's time to wrap up and deal with the call to action. Juliana.
Gosh, apologies. My network has just dropped down, which is a shame. So my video cannot come on, but I would like to, and that was a sneeze, by the way. Apologies for that slight pause. I would like to thank the Mixter team.
Sorry, I was going to say, we seem to have a question from the audience.
Oh, okay.
Somebody has their hand up. I wondered whether they would like to speak. And
that would be wonderful.
Yes.
Yeah. Who is that?
Olaide Adeola. Tadi, I wonder whether we could give them speaking rights. If not, Laide, you may want to type your question in the Q&A box.
All right, let me check that.
Okay. Whilst you're doing that, Tade, I would obviously like to thank Mixter, and I think the fact that you've been doing it for 20 years, as you said, Rolake, this is a risk worth taking. And I know that you have been engaging in the diaspora. It was mentioned, and it was a random mention by a participant in the contribution video. And also I have seen you out and about. We would like to see you back in Europe, possibly America sometime soon. I think brand engagement, as you would know, is absolutely crucial. But this is a great opportunity, and it's also an opportunity that I myself want to take on. I want to invest in a Mixter home. I also want to invest in land, and I know there are so many people that want to do it. And believe it or not, there are some people that still don't even know who Kim Kardashian are. So I think we'll be fools to believe that everybody knows that these opportunities are available. I think people don't know that these opportunities are available back home. So it would be great to continue the engagement, and also that transparency point you made is really also crucial. It's not about the trust anymore, it's the transparency in who can hold your hand. So it's great to know that our hands will be held as we go through this investment process. And yes, so I'll be passing back over to the team.
All right, so I've been able to unmute Funke. So if you want to proceed with your question, please have the floor. Thank you.
And Olaide Adeola.
Hello,
Yeah,
everyone.
so after her, Olaide, yes, we can hear you. Thank you.
Can you hear me? Yeah, and thanks for your time. I think what's her name for? Rolake has really answered a lot of my question. My company run an investment fund, and we focus basically on sustainable business models. We're currently looking at Africa. So we try to release portfolio opportunities like 4 times a year, from 250,000 to 2 million to 3 million. Currently, what we're looking to do is source into Africa. A lot of our network is our VCs, and we have angel syndicate groups as well. And property is one of the asset class we would like to add to the portfolio. So that's what my question was about, just to see how you relate more in partnership. And I think Rolake has answered that question.
Yes, please, Funke. I would encourage us to have a follow-up conversation, actually, because I think there's scope to work together across the ARM group. Yes.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. So please, this email address is the way you can get in touch. And
well, it does this sales.
Yeah, sales_diaspora. Tade is on that email address.
Okay.
And then, yes, we'll be able to then take the conversation forward. So maybe if you make an email sort of introduction via there.
Okay, no problem.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
And then the other person has dropped off.
So there's another hand, but it seems like it's dropped off. Yes, can't find it again.
Okay. Any further questions? Then I suggest that those of you who are interested in getting more information, you have the follow-up details there, and mixterafrica.com is a good place to start. I'd like to say thank you to Mixter for hosting the event today and for sharing this information. With something over 2 million Africans in the UK and a whole stack of interest in how to invest in Nigeria, this has been a really fascinating introduction to the Lagos New Town development and the opportunities within it. And Rolake, I'd like to say thank you very much for talking it through. Tade, I'd like to say thank you for your gladiatorial approach to getting the technology sorted, and Tolu for your patience as we went through those investment things. Juliana, well done, and thank you also for your contribution. I think the video of the diaspora comments was really well placed and really key to getting over some of the issues that people who are listening to this event this evening will be facing.
Yes. Okay. So, okay. All right, David, thank you so much for hosting this session. I think it's been very informative and engaging as well. Thank you to Rolake for your time. Thank you, Juliana. Thank you, Tolu. And thank you to everyone that's participated. So in terms of call to action, if you'd like to know if anything we've discussed today has interested you, if you're interested in hearing more about our projects and products and the opportunities that we have available at Lagos New Town, please contact us via the email address here on the screen, or you can call any of the numbers. We have a UK number, American number, and Canadian number that you can reach us through. We also have very engaging content on our social media platforms, from YouTube to Instagram, Facebook. On those platforms, you can learn more about us and interact and engage with us, understand what we do and what we've done previously. As David and Juliana have mentioned, we've been engaging in the diaspora market, and we plan to continue to do that. So we hope that when we embark on that, we are looking forward to connecting with you, and we hope you join us in that. Without further ado, thank you all for joining this session, and do have a lovely evening.
Thank you, Tade.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
you